Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Welcome and thank you for stopping by. It's fantastic you are here. Well, I trust you enjoyed my last video on David Essex, and through his song Rock On, we looked at one of the aspects of grief, and that is the fact that our lives need to be continuing somehow. So I trust you found that an encouragement. And again, if you are facing grief right now, truly sorry for your loss. I truly am. And you may find this video today a bit more of an encouragement for you. Because in the last video, I talked about the fact that, yes, there's two facets of life going on. We've got the fact that our life needs to continue day by day. And then we've got the other facet, and that is that we're missing the person terribly. It's that second facet, missing the person terribly, that I'm going to get onto today. It's quite good how these two videos have come together like this. And we're going to do it through David Gray, English singer-songwriter, who was born in 1968 in Sale in Cheshire. And then between 1993 and 2021, there's been 12 studio albums, 1 live album, 4 compilation albums, 19 music videos, 1 EP and 22 singles. Now, when you talk about Dave Gray, you have to talk about the album White Ladder. And even though he started releasing albums in 93, it was in 1998 that he got his worldwide breakthrough with this particular album, selling 3 million copies in the UK alone. Who knows what it would be for the world. In fact, when we get onto the clips later, there's actually 3 songs from that album, so you'll get to see what I mean. 2 #1 albums. Now, this guy is a prolific tourer. Well, I suppose when you can tour. Since 1993, he's been continually on the road, speaking his songs to whoever wants to listen. Now, he's won some awards, a GQ award, 2 unavailable awards. They're particularly significant. 2 Meter Music Awards and 1 Q Award. And interestingly, behind all of this inspiration, he's been married since 1993, and there are 2 daughters with his wife. So that's really, really lovely. Now, this guy has got quite a unique voice in the world of music. He's got just a real armchair, comfy chair type of feel to his singing. So when you hear him start, you think, oh, this is nice. I can just relax with this guy. He's also pretty mellow, certainly in the soft rock genre. He has also been defined as a folk rock in the beginnings, but more folktronic now. Now, you might be thinking, what's folktronic? Well, that's kind of a blend between folk music and some of the electronic loops and things that are around these days, electronic drum rhythms and all that sort of stuff. But it doesn't take away from the folk feel, but it just complements it so well. And so I've got a few David Gray albums, and I must admit I do quite enjoy it when I put his CDs in my CD player. That is for sure. Cruisy, soft, nice, relaxing and classy. That is David Gray. He's chucked his voice in there, which is kind of passionate and a bit laid back at the same time. It's just an all-round compelling thing to listen to. So thank you for David for bringing these fantastic songs to the world. Now, the song I really wanted to focus on today was the song The One I Love. This came off the Live in Slow Motion album from 2005. This was also very successful for David Gray, predominantly because of the song The One I Love, which I'm talking about today. Now, when I talked about David Essex, I talked about the fact that there are 2 aspects to grief. Well, and obviously, we all do grief differently. Let me just say that at the outshot, because grief is a very individual experience. But there are a few theories that are going around that can kind of be helpful, and then we put our own individualistic experience into these kind of concepts. Now, I talked about the fact that when we suffer a loss, we are feeling that loss well and truly, and we're feeling sad, and we're missing the person desperately. And it doesn't matter how much you are told, the words are said, it doesn't kind of counteract for the fact that the person's no longer around. That's one side, and the other side is the fact that we have to live our lives and continue on somehow while we are dealing with that sadness. Now, last time through Rock On, I looked at the fact that yes, life needs to continue on. But I didn't say, oh, just get over it and move on. No, not at all. It's about the fact that we have to work out how life moves on, maybe even why it moves on while we're dealing with the sadness. But in the video today, I want to look more at the sadness side of the world a bit. Now, first of all, if you are in grief right now, oh man, there are no words really to truly comfort you at this time. The physical presence is gone. The smile that they used to have, the walks you used to have, the coffee you used to have, you going out for dinner you used to have, the Christmas, the anniversaries, the birthdays, all of that sort of stuff is not physically there anymore. And my hope today, as we gently go through this stuff, is that this video will kind of be an encouragement for you, but it's certainly coming from the space of where you are right now. But we all feel stuff differently, so hopefully it will resonate with you today. So there's an interesting concept here, and that is that just because the physical presence is gone doesn't mean there's other aspects of the relationship that are still going. Because I've talked about this before, this little thing called love. You know, just because a person is physically no longer around, does that mean that you stop loving them? Well, obviously everybody is different, but I would suggest that perhaps no, it's very difficult to turn love off. You just can't do that because a person is significant in your world. And to turn love off is like saying, well, I'm going to pretend the person didn't exist and I'm just going to move on. But you know, there's just so much of us invested in our other partner that we just can't turn it off when the physical presence goes. So maybe for you there is a continuing relationship. Now I'd also almost go on to say that within that continuing relationship there are two bits. Now I liken this to a whole of grief. And in my website, I've actually done a bit of a series on this, just some thoughts, just working out whether this is a thing or not. Because just imagine that you're clinging on the top of this hole with all your might. It might be a birthday or a Christmas coming up. You're thinking, oh man, here we go again. I don't want to go through this stuff anymore. I'm just going to grin and bear it and get through it. These days used to be so wonderful, but now that the physical presence is gone, it just isn't anymore. So there's an aspect of it, that the fact that you're missing them terribly. In fact, the word terribly doesn't even cut it really. I can't think of a word worse than that, but basically you're just missing them like there's no tomorrow. And so these significant events come up, you think, oh man, not again. How am I going to get through this stuff this time? That's one side of the world. The other side of the world is that there are parts of your relationship which are still going. Things like memories. What's your iconic memory? You know, when you think about the person, you think, well, I remember this above all other things, and wow, just really, really cool. You can almost feel the smile coming to your face as you recall these memories. So we've got these two things side by side. We've got this like, oh my goodness, I just really missing them horribly. But on the same time, we've got these memories and these beautiful moments that we shared. Now, I just wonder whether both of these things combine together to form this journey. I think that's the word we need to use here. It's not a process, it's a journey of grief. So maybe if we know that there is the bad stuff, like the missing them terribly, but also I suppose the good stuff, and that is the incredible memories that you've got, which by the way no one will be able to take from you. If you could pull those things together, I'm just wondering whether that helps at all. And before I likened grief to a bit like a hole, and it's almost like if we like dangling in a hole, which grief can feel a little bit like at times, you're holding on with all your might because you don't want to let go, right? Because if you let go, you don't know what's going to be down there. And if you go down there, you may not get up again. Well, I'm just going to propose that what may be what is waiting for you if you let go. Not let go of the person. I don't think we need to let go of the person. You can't just say, well, I'm just going to let you go and move on. There's a bit of guilt associated with that perhaps we don't need. So it's all right to hang on to the person, but to let go, I suppose, of the intense feelings you have, the intense feelings of sadness that you have whenever these events come up. And so symbolically letting go from the top of the hole means letting go and to fall, in essence, into the hole of grief. Now, you'll be thinking, why on earth would I want to do that? It's a great question. You want to do it because you cannot hang on to those intense feelings forever. And maybe one of the best things we can do is to let grief do what it needs to do with us. It does what it needs to do, and we just need to go with the flow. Because grief is the way that we deal with the losses that we have. So I would argue and say that, well, this hole that you're falling down, it's not a bottomless hole. I think at some point you're going to come down to a nice, soft landing. Now, what's going to be waiting for you down there? Well, as I've already shared, we've got the dark bits, the intense sadness that you feel, all the things you can no longer do. But what also is down there are the light bits, and that is the memories in particular. There's a reason memories have said so much, the word memories has said so much at funerals, is because they are important and critical, and you will need them. And so maybe if we combine those really, really pleasant memories that you got and the darkness that is incorporated in the sadness, bring those two things together. And I'm just wondering whether at that point the toll disappears. And you find yourself walking out into a world that is different to what it has been before. It's different somehow. You don't know what the world's going to be like, but you just know it's different so far. And so instead of therefore letting go of the person, saying that time of our life is over, move forward with them. Move forward with the love, move forward with the relationships, move forward with the memories, move forward with that stuff, because that is now part of your life experience. Your life experience is unique to you. Your life experience is valuable to you. Your life experience is significant to you. And if there's been a person in your life that is no longer here physically, but as I have shared, is with you in other ways, know that you have known love. And that love is still there. The one I love. Who is the one that you love? Still. What are their names? What is one thing that you remember about them? What is the iconic memory that you have of them? Call them by name. Bring them up in conversation because they are still there. not just physically. And your life is so much richer because they were part of your life. Whether it's 10 years or 20 years or 50 years. Think about Queen Elizabeth II, 70 years of marriage. You know, you think about the fact that that is a significant part of your life. You're more with the person than without. In fact, for me, I'm around about the halfway point now with my life. I've been with my wife about half of my life now. That's a significant amount of time that we should not disregard, even when things come to an end. So I'd be interested to know in the comments below if this is kind of this element of dark and light and bringing them together into a continued life experience. Whether that's helpful for you or not, I'd love to just get some conversation happening below about this. And of course, guys, this is a safe place. And so if there are comments, we're going to be kind to each other about it as well. And if it is that you don't want to message below, certainly look me up in Facebook, Trevor Haley, and send me a message through there, and we can sort of discuss there if you would like. Because the main thing is we don't want to feel alone. We need connection even through our grief. So I'll trust that will all be an encouragement for you today. And interestingly, I thought of what I might actually do is I might drop in the description below with the songs I'm going to talk about now, just my blogs, the Whole of Grief series. It's about five or six blogs in this series. And if you want to just read a little bit more about what I think, well, that's there for you to consider for yourself. Well, on to the clips. So we have to have the one I love, again off the Life in Slow Motion album from 2005. This is the official clip. Now this particular song, some people say it's a dying man saying his final few words. It could also be the other way around, where you're remembering and reflecting back on the person. It could have either meaning, I'm thinking here. But this clip is beautiful. It's full of images and memories that goes in there to create a beautiful, music clip experience. And of course, Dave Gray, this is one of his best songs, this one. And so it's just an all-round beautiful clip, that one. Now, I talked about White Ladder, and we've got 3 songs off that particular album. And these are all live versions. So 1998, 3 million copies sold in the UK. We've got Sail Away. Then we've got Please Forgive Me. And we've got Babylon. Now, please just get swept away with how classy this guy is, how well he plays, how good his band is. Particularly in, there's one of the clips down there where the drumming's going absolutely crazy with the hi-hat and the cymbals and everything. Such a beautiful drumming in this song. It really just brings the song alive. And so all of the links to those 4 songs plus my blog series on the Whole of Grief are all in the description below. That's where you always find my videos. And by the way, I've also included my last video from David Essex. So if you're thinking, yeah, let's listen again about this life needing to carry on part of grief, well, that's something, there's some thoughts I've had there about that. So that one's there for you to recap on if you wish. Well, that's it for today. I really trust if you are someone going through grief right now that this has resonated with you somehow. That is certainly the spirit of the intent of this video. Obviously, we all do grief differently, but sometimes it's good to talk about it. And if anything, you need to talk about the person who's no longer around. If it was 10 years ago they died, 20 years ago, however long it is, you need to talk about them because they're there waiting for you in your memories. Well, that's it for today. If you have come back for another video, or this is your first time to Life Reflections Through Music, so wonderful for everybody to be here, and thank you for hanging around to this moment. Well, that's it for today. Next time, just for something a little bit different, we're going to go on to David Essex, electronic DJ genius. So until then, I'll catch you around.